Hey everyone, this is One Man Zerg again, and I am casting the IC Cub Global Gamer Invitational game number 2 in between Inka, the purple Protoss in the 12 o'clock position, and OGS, the blue Terran on the right side, or the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock position. And this is game 2 with Inka losing the first game, so if OGS takes this, that's the end of the series, and if Inka takes this, we go on to a dynamic and challenging game 3 between the two players. Just a couple reminders. This is being cast on the IC Cup TV channel. Thanks to IC Cup for letting me cast on their channel. And this tournament, the Global Gamers Invitational, the qualifying rounds is what we're watching right now, is brought to you partially by iFixit, who donated a couple grand to this, and their goal is to teach every person on Earth how to fix everything they own. You can join them at ifixit.com. And also by Esports United, who is pairing with Intel and has donated $1,000 to this tournament to help it grow and become a major event. And some more background on the players. Inka's an American Protoss player, and he is a member of Evil Geniuses, which he joined in the summer of 2009. And OGS is actually Old Generations. It's a top Korean Starcraft 2 pro team, and they were all members of original members and former SC1 pro gamers or coaches. So hence OGS, Original Gamers. And then it looks like both players doing a pretty standard opening once again. Nothing too unusual here. And we're playing on Metalopolis. We're playing, they're playing. And Metalopolis, I think everyone knows it. There's this little back area in your base that you can get dropped on, or they can kind of peep show you. There's these ledges in your base, which you can see Reapers or Stalkers blink up. Outside of your main, you have your expansion, which is pretty open, so it can be hit from several sides, and really just one side, but one huge side. So it's a little difficult to defend, but not too bad, and it's real near your main, so it's not like you have much separation between your troops and your forces. And then, let's see, anything unusual? No, OGS going with the orbital command on 16, very standard play. And we have a cybernetic score going down after the gateway. OGS doing a little bit of scanning here, or scouting, and you can see that Inka has not even gotten to his base yet, but he gets in the base, sees nothing at all unusual happening, just a couple Marines being pumped out, doesn't even get to see the tech lab, and he's just scouting around. But it looks like OGS has his number right there, and the probe goes down, and vice versa, the SCV goes down in the other base. So both players are at a loss for what else the other player is doing right now, what they are teching to. You can see OGS hiding the factory in the back of his base right here. It's a good position because he'll see if anything's happening back there, and at the same time, if Inka does get in his base, he's not going to see that factory unless he goes all the way back here, which if you're harassing or attacking, you most likely don't want to go all the way back there. You want to stay around that mineral or crystal line, whatever you want to call it. And then on the production tab, we see he's getting the concussive shells for the Marauders. And ooh, here Inka is going with the Stargate. So we might see some Phoenix coming out of this. We might see Void Ray Rush. You can't tell what's happening right now. Both strategies are pretty useful in their own respects, but they're different. And OGS trying to pull another fast one on Inka. But it looks like Inka is prepared this time with his pylon in the back of this base right now, and he's going to see this factory come in just a moment. Yeah, he does see that coming in, so let's see how he reacts. Is he gonna spot it? Yeah, and his troops are already converging on the factory. I'm sorry, fooled me once, shame on me. Fooled me twice? No, fooled me once, shame on you. Fooled me twice, shame on me. Oh, and he's doing the same tactic again with some troops in the front of the base while the factory lands in the back, and he's dropping a bunker this time. This looks like it's going to be exciting, and Inka has to pull all of his troops out the factory, so those Hellions are going to have a chance to get out. But these Phoenix are also going to pop out at the same time, and focusing down on these Stalkers right now, because the Stalkers are what really makes it difficult for the Terran player. With the Zealots in there, they can be kited, but those two Stalkers warp in, and there are no units left to go into that bunker. So it looks like a pretty comfortable position. He did float that Hellion right there with a Graviton Beam, and gets it out of the way with those Stalkers. So OGS's little tricks and his up to no good status really doesn't do him any good this time, and Inka's able to push back on OGS. Hope he grabs this Phoenix over here to shoot this factory just a little bit. Maybe make it burn, maybe not. We will see. But OGS going with the Vikings this time. He sees those Phoenix, so he's got to change to the Vikings. And then we can see both players are relatively even in the income department. OG's got his mules bringing him up in the crystal area, even though he's down by a few harvesters right now. No big deal. And then, yeah, having to repair that factory. Inka's got a couple probes out. He's got the bigger army right now. It looks like he is definitely in a dominant position. And bringing his probe with him, maybe he's going to establish some forward pylons here, allowing him a lot easier aggression. Oh, and that turret in the back of the base with those long-range Vikings really is going to make it so those Phoenix aren't going to be too successful, and helps him control that a lot. And then these Marines, it looks like Inka should really be pulling out right about now. He's running low on energy, and his Phoenix are just, oh, he's pushing in right now though. He might be able to take this out. That is a lot of SCVs to repair that bunker. I would not be worried if I were OGS against this force right now. And he's not, oh, the Zealot slips past into the base. Is he going to get out any Marauders right now? Let's see, he's not producing any. He's got a Banshee on the way. It is almost popping out. And Banshees versus Stalkers aren't the best combo if you're the Protoss player, but it is just one Banshee. And these Zealots are in the back of the base, thanks to these pylons, just doing some damage to that probe line. Let's watch these minerals. This resource collection rate is just so low. Without the tech lab, the Banshees can no longer be built. This last one will be able to be built, but future Banshees can't be built. So Inka really just stuffing it to the Terran player while he's throwing down that expansion. Way to take advantage of his forward position and his really position in the game right now. So throwing down a robotics bay. Going with the tech lab here for OGS. He did have this reactor on the barracks, and without the tech lab on the barracks, because he used his tech lab for his starport, he was unable to get those Marauders during that last fight. And without the Marauders versus the Stalkers, the Marines just don't counter them very well unless they have the shields and the EMP support of the Ghost. And it looks like Inka must have got harassed while I wasn't watching it. Just pulls off some of his probes to go to his expansion. Always splits those. And then you can see he is getting a little bit of an advantage here with that 25. Oh, gets the Banshee in the base. He is getting harassed. I do not know. Oh, the Observer is just popping right now. So this Banshee will be dealt with in no time. And there it goes down. But OGS able to keep himself in the game right now. He is really not losing much in terms of income. But Inka does have 2 bases up. He does have the ability to produce twice as many probes. It looks like he is in an advantageous position right now. And if you look, the army size, there's no huge commanding lead. OGS definitely on the defensive. Surprised he's not dropping just 1 turret right here. He had one earlier, but maybe he's just too mineral short to do that right now. Focusing his money elsewhere. Gets that Viking back up so those Phoenix harass cannot be as big of a deal. But yeah, the longer Inka can just hold out on this income advantage, and really, he's watching this base right here with this nicely placed pylon. So he knows that he is in the better position, and he does have a good control of the game. And then look at that, just coming in right outside of range, and just dealing a little bit of damage to that SCV line of his opponents. Not losing too much, just letting those shields go down. It looks like OGS building pretty standard force. Got the medevac backup. Got lots of Marines for the Phoenix and the Marauders for the Stalkers. So it's a pretty good balance, but it's 2 balanced forces. And we got a robotics bay coming down right now. That could mean Colossus. That does mean Colossus. There is a Colossus rolling out. And Colossus is just so effective against this mix. They just kill Marines. I think it's 2 shots to kill these Marines when they're at that level of HP. So that is a very good choice of unit for Inka to go with. And he does have the economy to start pumping those out. And it looks like he is chrono boosting that. So we will see that Colossus out quicker than is typical. Although it's pretty typical to chrono him. And then OGS with that forward bunker again. That's always devastating. And with this kind of force, you really don't want to push out on it. So Inka might just give up that base or just play a little back and forth until this Colossus comes out. And there's the Colossus. It's rolling out. All he's got to do is deal with that Viking. I think he might have taken it down with his Phoenix. And yeah, that Colossus, that's just menacing for those Marines. Marines are backing up. The Marauders are going to have to back up. It looks like Inka is definitely getting the advantage. You can see the units lost right now, relatively equal for the whole game. But I do think that Inka is in an advantageous position, even though he's slightly blocked out. if he gets that, he's not getting those extended thermal lances right now, but if he can get that, he can take this bunker down without threat of counterattack. Still getting those Phoenix up. And let's see, on the income tab. Yeah, it's actually OGS in the advantageous position because of those mules. But Inka does get more gas right now. And he is able to use those. Ooh, just escapes there with 4 hit points. Nice little moves. I'm sure he didn't plan it that way, but it worked out well. And you can see, although OGS is he is down in army size, I think it might be, no, he's just overall down. He has about the same amount of harvesters. And Inka pushing out strong. That one bunker is not going to hold right there. And I would expect Inka to just push all the way into OGS's base right now and leverage these Colossus and Phoenix for that site up that ledge and just really see how much damage he can do. It's going to be a little tough to deal with these Vikings for those Colossus, but I think the Phoenix will counter them pretty well. A nice balanced mixed army that Inka's really got going on right now. So let's see how he's going to play out this fight. Tries to draw those Vikings out a little. Looks like it didn't quite work. And OGS building his command center out here. You don't often see that. Really, you usually see it built somewhere up here and just flown out. Probably because it's so easy to take out right there. Just like that. And here he goes in the base. Taking out some Marauders real quick. Colossus are just going to push up in on this force. I don't even think he's worried about losing those Colossus right now. Yeah, the Phoenix are getting targeted down. And these Stalkers, this is just too much to deal with. I would expect a good game from OGS coming right about now. And I think maybe that's a good game. I think it's in Korean, so I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, Inka able to take command of that game. Ties the series up at 1-1. OGS had that little trick early in the game with the factory in the back. The SCV Marine Marauder troop composition coming in the front. That two-sided pincer move. And you can see he's even dropping in the back of Inka's base right now. Clearing him out. Some good counterattack by him, but just not enough to deal with this force that's going to kill your base entirely. So Inka really able to power up after he got control and got that second base's expo up and able to contain OGS with his pylon out in front of his base. Knows exactly when he's moving out and then just gets that overwhelming force to deal with him. And then he did go with that Phoenix tech. I like that. He knew to look for the factory back here. He knew to get the Phoenix to counter the Banshees. He just played a really strong game after learning from that first game loss where the Banshees crippled him a little bit after the two-pronged proxy factory and then Marine Marauder SCV rush put him in some trouble earlier. So yeah, thanks again to IC Cup for letting me cast this game, and we will go on to game 3 of the Global Gamers Invitational between OGS